Do you have those moments of, God is calling you to do a new thing, whether start a new business or start a new thing in your business? But there are so many questions in your mind, such as, well, Lord, it sounds great, but where are the clients? Or, Lord, where are the resources? And so on, right? If you're like me, I'm a planner, so I would like to know a lot of details in advance. However, that's often not how God works, right? As we say yes to the first step, and then He will give you the another step. Welcome to the show, Angee.
Thank you for having me, Kelly. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we surely gonna put the previous episode that Angee actually came on the show a while back. And that episode, we share a lot of tips about when it comes to, VA, come to building a team and so on. But today, this episode is a part of the Easter series, and we're gonna talk about, Angee, that she gonna share a story about how God impact on her business, all the crazy love stuff. Okay, so Angee, please take away.
Sure. So, as you'll hear in the previous episode, I'm a virtual assistant, and I started my business about 21 years ago now, and worked. God's been blessing me in the business. It's been amazing, and all throughout that time, as I've been looking at how can I expand my business, how can I grow my business, what can I do to change without adding on more clients. And I would work with a lot of different coaches and business coaches to kind of help me to kind of decipher and strategize for the business. And they all kept saying the same thing. Why don't you start a school? Why don't you start a school? And it just never sat with me. I thought about it and I was like, yeah, but I don't really have anything to add. I don't feel like there's anything that I would be contributing that somebody else isn't already doing, especially the school that I went to. And so I just kind of, always shelved that. It would always keep coming up. I kept journaling about it and like asking God about it. And it just never, he was never like, yes, go do that, go do that, go do that. And then about 5 years, almost 5 years ago now, I got connected with a great organization, Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur, and really got a hold of what it meant to partner with God in my business. And I think on the last Easter episodes that you've done, Kelly, I think I shared that story where I went from really grinding in my business to partnering with God and how he completely changed how I worked. And I went from working 7 days a week to like 4 days a week now. And so with that, God just kept changing and changing and changing my business. And I really got a hold of partnering with God and what does that mean? And how do I partner daily with him? And I started incorporating that and really bringing in more and more and more, even in the finest of details, like, okay, I can't figure out how to open this document. Help me. Like it's not opening properly. Help me, Holy Spirit. Little things every day. I would just bring him in more and more. And Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur had a certification program. And so I enrolled in the program because I'm a part of the team and I wanted to see what the program was like. I wanted to know what the students were learning so that when people asked me questions, I could share more about what the program. Didn't think anything about it for myself or my business. I was just, doing what I thought was best for the company. So I enrolled in the certification, and about halfway through the program, I felt God saying, now it's time for you to open a school. And I want you to open a school, but I don't want you to just teach about being a virtual assistant. I want you to teach these students how to partner with me in their business and to be a virtual assistant, a kingdom virtual assistant, and what that looks like as they support business owners. And when God, I'm like getting chills now thinking about like that moment when he said that to me, because it was like a light bulb went off, and that was the missing puzzle piece for everybody saying, you should start a school, you should start a school. And I was like, it's not time. And that when God spoke that to me, it was time. And so I was like, okay, Lord, then how does this work? Like, what are we going to do? And he was like, well, this is our father-daughter project together. And I was like, okay, I'm loving that. Let's do it. So I started talking with my mentor, Shay, at the time. She was the one leading the certification. And Shay was like, okay, what I want you to do is before you build out anything, I want you to go see if there are people that are interested in going to the school. I said, okay, fair enough. So I had no list at the time. I had barely a social media presence at all. I wasn't doing anything because My VA business was built on word of mouth. So this was very different. And I made a few connections with KDE, and I said, okay, ideally I'd love to have 10 students in my first class, but I need a minimum of 3 at least. And so I started putting out, just a few emails here to the little tiny list that I had. I posted a little bit on social media, and God gave me some really cool, like, social media posts. Like, he was like, share your story of how you became a virtual assistant. So I shared like my graduation certificate. I shared my acceptance letter when I got accepted into the school. I shared like my first client story. I shared all these different things. And it really started to click with people. And I ended up getting 6 students that enrolled in that first round. And at that point, I had nothing. I had no curriculum, no outline, nothing. I just opened it up to see if people were interested, and they were, and I enrolled them. And so now it was like, okay, now that I've got this, what do I do? And so in true God fashion, we just built it as we went. So, but then, so I led the class. Those students graduated. They are doing amazing in their business, and I've led another class since. And then I'm getting ready to enroll for the next class. So it's just been awesome to watch how God's worked. And I still don't have a list hardly, and I still don't have much of a social media presence. And yet he continues to bring the students, because I believe, like what he said, this is our father-daughter project, and this is something that he wants to get out into the world. And it was time. And so just being obedient and stepping into that and just watching him work has been amazing.
Wow. So there's a lot to unpack, I right away came to my mind, guys. So one is, I talked about before in one of my videos, talk about 3 phrases. One is ROI, one is ROO, and one is COI. Okay. So COI is a cost of inaction. And then ROO is return of obedience. And ROI, obviously everybody know, it's return of investment, right?
Yeah.
So as you just heard what Angee said, well, she started from nada, nothing, zero, big zero, right?
Yeah.
The key is it aligns with what I also often say, that God's favor and grace comes with the in-season assignment, right? Because she could have opened a school as other people told her prior, but she didn't feel that was the right timing or in the right context. But that moment when God told her and then said, not just teach people about VA business stuff, but also how to partner with him. And that's where her light bulb went off. And then, yes, great. Now, where do we start? I have nothing in hand. Seemingly, right? And how we all feel like, great, Lord, this sounds exciting. Father and daughter project, awesome. Guys, just pretty much like this Easter project, or pretty much like 7 years ago, this podcast project. I was kicking, screaming, did not want to do it. I told God, I have nothing to offer, and Angee, I think probably now the listener or viewers on YouTube channel, they probably kind of pop up a question. I can see the question kind of like a cloud pop up above the head and say, what do you mean? I know this is a big question, but let's just try to give examples. What do you mean? Partner with God. By the way, this episode is sponsored by our very own She Inherited Founder Academy. What is She Inherited Founder Academy? It's a premier community for Christ-centered female founders to start, grow, and scale your online business elegantly. We focus on identity-aligned positioning, compassion-driven marketing, and confidence-fueled selling to establish your business and solid ground for accelerated growth. In short, real women build real business and serve a real God. Inside the community, we focus on 4 key areas, but not limited to. We talk about, first of all, you becoming the CEO that God has called you to be. We talk about biblical principle for business, clarity on your short-term and long-term goals, and build a bridge between where you are now to where you want to be. learn how to steward 5 essential areas in your business and life, master the business legal and administration and finance and so on, how to articulate the value of your offers, how to create that sell out offer suite for your business, and which platform you should choose, what kind of content machine you should build in order to solidify your foundation, and also to be able to attract the right type of clients and generate the income and impact as well. So if you're one of those crisis-centered female founders and you would like to have a community like this to support you at a very, very reasonable price, well, we have a founding member price promotion at the moment. Just go to kellybutler.com/founder for detailed information.
In every decision that I make, I consult God about it and seek his leading on it. You know, doing the school is a prime example. I could have went off, like Kelly said, and just started the school. Probably would have been a success, maybe, I don't know. But because I waited and partnered with God when the timing was right, when his leading was there, then whenever I was doing the things like the marketing or he was giving me the guidance and the steps, and it made it, I don't want to say easy. I want to say easy, but not easy in a way that you think, oh, it's just going to be easy breezy. I mean, in the sense of I didn't have to struggle with it. It just was flowing, and it was just, he was giving me one step. It wasn't easy in the sense of I was out of my comfort zone. I was doing something that I didn't know what I was doing. I've never done this before. I was marketing my business in a way I've never marketed it before. I had to come up with curriculum. Now I'm teaching people. I'm used to taking direction from clients and what they want done, and I go execute it. Now I'm like teaching people what to do. Totally different. All those out of my comfort zone. But because he was giving me the information, it made it, I had a peace about it. So I was operating in a place of peace instead of worry and fear and struggle. So for me, partnering with God is that. It's just that. It's not to say that it's going to be an easy road. It's not to say that you're going to be challenged and stretched. It's just to say that he's going to equip you with what you need for that step that you're taking.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because a lot of kind of false understanding or false teachings out there. People say, oh, if God says so, then must be, I just, don't have to do much. You just sit here and then, red carpet rolling out, that type of thing, which is not, guys.
No.
Oftentimes it's not. Oftentimes, just like Angee said, that we have to walk out the comfort zone. And yeah, now I don't know the picture of the Peter step out of the boat. It kind of just came.
Love Peter.
Came to me. It's just like, okay, now God gonna say, here it's the project, and she had to say yes first. And after say yes, God did not just give her the whole picture, say, oh, here, this is how you're gonna find clients. If you do this step 1, 2, 3, you're gonna build your curriculum. No, it's step by step. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the whole purpose of this episode, that we trust and we hope that this message will inspire you and will encourage you that you need to step out by faith, right? A lot of people say, well, Katie, I don't have confidence. Guess what? Confidence is earned. Confidence is still that after you have the courage to step out, make mistakes, make adjustment, then you have confidence. Angee, before you go, can you, kind of just leave us something for those people that at the moment they feel like they heard from the Lord, but they are not sure. So what should they do to step out that first step?
Excellent question. And definitely God was giving me something to say when you asked that. We have to trust that the desires that God places in our hearts are the desires he places in our hearts. So if you have a desire for something, as long as it's lining up with his word, as long as it's lining up with his heart, you have to take that step of faith and take that step. And he will reveal more as you take more steps. He's not going to give you the full plan, just like Kelly said. He's only going to give you the next step, the next step, the next step. And it's our job to just be obedient and exercise our faith in taking that step. And once we take that step, he'll reveal more. Just like I took the step of saying, yes, I'll do the school. And then he was like, okay, great. And then the next step for me was, let's see if people are interested. Okay, they are. Great. Now let's do the curriculum. And he literally would give me a lesson a week. Every week he would help. He would just download a lesson to me. I would write it all up, do my PowerPoints, do the presentation, write like every week. And it was just that week that he gave me the lesson. Then once we did that step, it was the next step. So just taking that one step and just trusting that the desires he's placed in your heart, he put those there and you're in alignment with him.
Well, I hope you guys taking notes. And if you are not taking notes because you are in the gym, normally I listen to my podcast while I work out, it's okay. You can just later on go to katypotter.com/podcast. Then there you will see a lot of show notes. And also now you know, whenever you need a team member, you know where to go. Angee is a person to solve your problem. Okay. So Angee, thank you so much again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Kelly, for having me. It was great to be here.
And if you like this video and this episode, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share with others so more Christ-centered leaders have the opportunity to consume this type of valuable content. Before I go, I just want to remind you that you can click on the screen to go to the next business growth videos, and I will see you in the next episode.